And that is beautiful. I wasn't even thinking originally that salamanders being fire damage actually very much plays into our current strengths in this form. So that is fantastic. Let's finish grabbing up all the little loot in our tiny little sub-castle. If that was a bit of a teaser for what the final area of Snake potentially has in store for us, then I am more than happy with how that went. And we can hopefully expect a similar style heading into the later sections of the branch here. Yikes. Okay, I was worried that constriction would continue to be a problem. I probably should have apocalypsed while I was down there. I mean, I'm still gonna do it to just blast these sons of guns to high heaven. But probably could have gone a little more collateral damage using it in the crab down here. But hey, not gonna complain too much one way or another. Not too shabby, all things considered. Let's definitely get a curing in. Also does a lovely little swipe. And whoo-wee. Oh hey, a tower shield of protection that will never get used. Unfortunately not, eh? Where was that? Was that somewhere in the piles up here or downstairs? But I think you're on the right track that it will unfortunately not be used on this run. If only we were still doing our Formicid trials. Because that's the one time, of course, that we never find ourselves coming across the early branded tower shields, and the one time we want it most. But hey, it is what it is, and regardless, I think we'll be doing just fine, or at least so it would seem. Oh my gosh, Guardian Serpents galore. Again, maybe this time being a little bit less of a precursor or a taste tester, and instead I'd like this to be a bit more karmic, and a case of we've gotten all of the Guardian Serpents out of the way here on Snake 2, and now there will be no more as we continue through the last couple floors. Now, do I actually believe this will be the case? Almost assuredly not, but would I like that to be the truth of the matter? So we get another tower shield of cold resistance as well. Game's really just laying it on thick there. So thanks for that, DCSS. But hey, it's hard not to get a little salty when we're rampaging through you without a care in the world, so understandable at the very least, even if I don't agree with your methods. And okie dokie, definitely just sprinting through here. What did you have? It might have just been the Kite Shield of Reflection also shows up as a purple background. Or at least that's my assumption based on what we're seeing there. Good to know for the future. This slow ego definitely sucks, but 3 pips of willpower and regen? Can I say no to that? Can I afford to say no to that? It's where the seeds are generating to be the antithesis of what you want your character to be. Well, no, that's the sneaking bit. I mean, we've touched on it before, but the truth is far more insidious and dark. It's the adaptive AI. All this time, ever since even the start, even back when it was Lindley's Crawl in 2001, I swear, they were ahead of the game. They knew. They had some kind of time traveler come back, give them the secrets of high-powered AI, and make one that listens to everything you say and do, and make sure to ruin your porridge. It's the only explanation. But I think I will buy this amulet. That slow is probably going to get me killed, but I think I desperately need the willpower. You don't think the slow will be worth it? So what actually triggers it? It's when we take damage. I mean, I'm curious if the mixture between the advantages we gain from this and willpower, and the fact that at least we have Rue to kind of, you know, apply those status effects back on our enemies as well, It's probably not worth it, you're probably correct, and I'll probably start to regret this desperately, but for the moment here, let's just test it out, see how it goes. I don't even know what the actual percentile is on that slow either. I mean, fortunately, doesn't hit us there, and Snake might be, I guess, a little more manageable than other sections of the game would be, just in terms of all of our enemies being slow, might give us some amount of wiggle room. But we shall see. We'll give it this little bit of a trial run. Likely nothing bad will happen in the trial run, and then I'll go into the final floor just absolutely filled to the brim with hubris. But hey, such is the standard fare for DCSS, no? Definitely be something to equip when fighting banishing targets. Don't think it's an always equip. I just wish it wasn't an amulet, because they do take a few turns to trade into. You'll believe the slow proc is a percent-based chance based on the damage taken. I think that falls very much in line with the majority of effects, kind of in that general category, so I would be tempted to just fully agree with you there. Interesting. You can get artifact talismans? So I'm guessing this effect happens just when you're in that form? Holy. Okay, so I need a cold resistant dragon form, is what you're telling me, game. I mean, regardless, I'm going to pick you up. I don't think we'll be swapping into you. I guess we're still not maxed out. Probably actually be worth it to a certain extent. Let's do a little bit of a side-by-side, shall we? So we're at 13 AC, 9 evasion, 294 health. We swap out of you and into you. 235, so health definitely goes down quite a bit. 14 AC, 12 evasion. It's not bad. We get that cold resistance, still fire resistance. I mean, it definitely looks better on that page, eh? Or a willpower dragon form, that would also be nice. In fact, while we're wishing upon a star here, how about we get a cold resistant and willpower artifact dragon form? Wouldn't that be lovely? But let's try the snake form out temporarily here. Give these sons of guns a taste of their own medicine and see how it goes. I mean, I doubt we'll have too much issues regardless, and it's very hard to tell in this kind of small sample size exactly what the effects would be, but can at the very least check them out. Oh my gosh. And another artifact talisman. This one not too great, but still cool to see. A blade form. So with this one, oh, we could actually wear armor. So if we had some legitimate armor, then this would be a very valid route. Snake on snake violence, when will it end? Not today, friend. Not today. We will relish in brother fighting brother, the civil war amongst the branch here, and we will relish in it with the utmost glee, if I'm being completely honest with you. Truly a thing of beauty. Okay, should actually check out that ID scroll as well, and we do reveal our requirement. Lovely. Let's take a peek at you. Tower, another gosh darn tower shield. Oh my gosh, it is a beauty. Will I potentially shift into shields? I wish I knew the shape-shifting forms a little better off the top of my head. So it would give me some indication whether that tower shield is a factor whatsoever. Potentially it's a nothing burger. I'm always going to be either in a different form that doesn't have that slot, or just using dragon form for the majority of the game. In which case, probably the manual of fighting just super crank our fighting aptitude all the way to +6. mean, it's not bad, right? Tower Shield will likely require more investment than you can get in the 3-rune run, because our shields are -2. We're also a large species though, right? So it's a little bit easier, a little bit more applicable. But yeah, I think for me it's the forms. I don't know if we'll ever be able to use it regardless, so I would have to agree with you, manual fighting. I wish that we had some money stuff that we wanted, but at the end of the day, can't be mad at that whatsoever. That is going to send this skill into the stratosphere. In fact, we're no longer going to be keeping this perfect balance across the board here, which, you know, is just in time. We're about to hit the cap that we set on dodging as well, so it's fitting at the very least. Okie dokie, let us start to be a little cognizant of how things are going. We'll back out of that encounter before things grow to be too untenable, and just in the nick of time. I mean, I don't believe the slow got triggered there, but definitely just the overall slew of effects coming our way. It's rough to say the least. So I think, actually what I think can maybe wait a moment here. Let's take a peek through. So we could do Essence again, lose another 20% MP. Or we can lose some Dex. I mean, that's probably going to be it. I could also sacrifice Stealth. I have no real care in the world for you, but I think it's going to be Purity. Let's just even out our scores across the board here. Sun Artifact Ring, you thought in the shop? Or Stealth? Which was the Artifact Ring here? It's relatively soon. This bad boy here, see invisible, strength +2. Yeah, it looks like it was stealth minus there, but regardless, I think I'm happy with that choice, and we're now up to max piety, looking good, feeling good. But what I was going to mention is that I think the Serpent Talisman might actually be solid for us in shoals, where we have a little bit more of a cold issue. And for the rest of Snake here, let's just go full crank on the dragon form, shall we? Should be able to kill things quick enough to make short work. The rest of the branch don't really need that cold resistance here. And so, as much as I appreciate the satisfaction of giving these snake buddies a taste of their own medicine, I think the right move for the moment here, I mean, is definitely going to be to kill that gosh darn Guardian Serpent. Ruining it for everyone, my friend. And let's start to take a little bit of precaution. Again, we're lucky that the amulet has not triggered its slow effect whatsoever so far. Probably want to otherwise play it on the safe side. Let's hop out of there, heal up fully, and we can kind of reset this fight a couple of times if absolutely necessary. Because, oh boy, are we drawing a little bit of a crowd. Hello, friends. I mean, I wish the sharpshooter wasn't the one that had access to us. I'm trying to wait out turns so that they'd, you know, step next to us and come upstairs, join us on our ascension. But unfortunately, not very much cooperation going on these days with my snake friends. And maybe that's due to us swapping forms. Maybe if we were still in our snake body, they'd respect us more. But regardless of what the case may be, we at least are able to take care of all those sons of guns without too much worry here, and we should be able to largely go back to tabbing our way to victory. Especially thank you, Rue, for bringing in the blind on our new friend. I mean, 34, is there anything you can hit me with from afar for that much damage? I don't believe there is. So I'm just gonna get the heck out of dodge, and not too shabby. I think that's one of the secret benefits to Dragon Form. I mean, sure, having a giant health pool is just nice in its own right, of course. I think that much is fairly straightforward and obvious. But the secret advantage that I leverage out of it is that percentiles of health render in such a way that even when we're sitting at a decent amount of health, like 50, I mean, even now, we're over 100 health, and we're in the red. And so it tricks my brain into realizing a little sooner than it otherwise might that I need to start, you know, actually thinking for once. And so I think that that alone is worth its weight in gold. That is its own little form of resist hubris, if you ask me. Slows rearing its ugly head now. It did in that, yeah, that last big runaway. Still not quite detrimental enough for me to worry too much about it. I mean, the irony of it is that I also don't think we're getting that much out of the willpower here. I mean, there's like strip poison resistance, some teleport shenanigans maybe. That's it though. So it's kind of burning us on both ends if we really think about it, but I prefer not to think too much about it. Instead, just be happy that we're wearing this cool artifact. That's all that matters. But okie dokie. That's Snake, done and dusted. And yeah, no real issue points. A couple of what looked like to be close calls, but I think that some of that was the large amount of Oni Dragon health, as well as a blind naivete that I bring into it. Naive optimism, as I've come to affectionately call it in my own life. But okie dokie. I guess that means Shoals is up next. As much as I hate to bring us there next. So what could we shift up here? What could we change? Let's remove dragon form. Potentially could go to like Robe of Willpower. This leaves us at very crappy AC but solid resistances. The reason why I was looking at this though was if we did something like Blade Hands, but 6 armor class. I mean, even with 210 HP, I think that's a little rough for me. Oh, we do hit as hard as a dragon. Hit pretty much equally as hard as our dragon form. But this would be full glass cannon. I mean, as soon as some Javelineers come around the corner, we're definitely going to be regretting everything. Is that worth the additional resistances? Meh? Oh, we did get a Ring of Protection at some point, so that at least evens out the numbers a smidge. Just 2 pips of willpower, so not even that incredible, really. Hated by all. Thanks, Rue. That's really nice. That's a lovely way to put it. Ooh, you read that slime has different endings now? Oh, really? Well, there goes my whole, like, mantra about slime, which is that say what you will about it, and it has definitely murdered some of my more promising runs, but consistency was something I always leaned towards there. It was nice that if you had a certain set of tools at your disposal, you were generally set to go for slime. Which is probably a large impetus for why the change took place in the first place, or why the change was taken in the first place, rather. So that's very interesting. Maybe we could check that out. I mean, on this character, I guess normally we probably would have gone for Abyss. We'll see when we get there. We still have a wee bit to go before we need to start making up any of our mind there, or making any bold decisions. But we couldn't potentially do slime. My one issue there, or rather my main issue, is that we don't have AoE, really. Not any great way to deal with multiple enemies, which is generally what you want for that royal jelly fight for once everything hits the fan and goes nuts. We do have an absurd amount of fire resistance, so we could just smash back immolation scrolls left and right and watch the world burn. But again, we're a little ways off there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Probably need a Ring of Resist Corrosion. Definitely need some form of Resist Corrosion. So hopefully in the next while that shows up. But yeah, we still have Shoals probably do even potentially all of vaults and depths before we worry about Rune 3. But we will burn that bridge when we get there. I probably do just want to be a dragon, even with the cold vulnerability. We at least have the Ring of Ice to neutralize that. Let's swap back momentarily here. Yeah, we're up to 18 AC with the additional ring. And then we could take away the fire resistance, the Ring of Ice. And it's okay. I do like the 315 health. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's largely just that I love dragon form. It doesn't even matter what the number crunch says. I will be hard-pressed to not use dragon form over the rest of this run at any given opportunity. I mean, we'll definitely take a look at storm form and see what the dealio is there. We'll take some steps even with our barbs here. Oof. Let's be a little bit more cautious of said barbs, shall we? Hey, Cyclops friend, Dream Sheep couldn't follow you across the deep water. That is very unfortunate. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And should be able to take them on a little more straightforwardly on their own. Pack is full. I mean, this kite shield is just burning a hole in my pocket without having any real use case for us. Staff of Fire, on the other hand, that I will completely and totally ignore. So yeah, all of the force mores now show up a little more drastically with that console change, hey? It's definitely taking my brain a little bit just to rewire and get used to, but I do appreciate it. Sometimes it was hard to notice that was even happening in the bottom. I guess force more is also slightly different. Those still exist in their usual form. Okay, though, willpower and corrosion resistance. Why be anything else when you can be a dragon, a man after your own heart? Hey, what can I say? I'm a simple fella. And there is something beautiful about it. Well, yeah, I think we will want both those rings. At the moment, do I really want to swap off of anything I currently have? I mean, corrosion resistance, not worried about that for now. That's way down the road if and when we do head towards slime. We'll see. Might have to wait for another run, depending on if we're feeling confident and comfortable with our status at that point in time. This willpower ring, that I think I need. That I think I will gobble up immediately. And let's not worry about exploring all the world's oceans, not today at least. I know they're another frontier, similar to space, but unfortunately just not quite what we're looking for in life at the moment. I'm sure you'd understand. But okay, we break line of sight, then get put to sleep. Gosh darn it. Had to kill the avatar, regain our honor, fantastic. This time, we do not make the turn and become friends by the end and reclaim our morality, and instead this is the dark timeline where we successfully murder the avatar in cold blood. I'm surprised these Sons of Guns aren't hurting us a little more than they have been. I mean, I could definitely see that changing right away here. Bunch of venom weapons. This is a little bit of a waste, but I would rather be safe than sorry, so let's just blast them into Kingdom Come. And we can hopefully regain that drain shortly. Anywho. Ooh, there's the Ring of Slain now. We should add little vaults or something on the edges of the shoals floors, just so there's reason. Well, especially since I think there needs to be some kind of impetus, because at the moment, Krakens are a huge detriment to any explorer wanting to make their way across the 7 seas there. So that generally keeps me far and away from doing any exploration there. Do you think 18 AC is one of those nice thresholds for damage resistance? It's not bad. Especially what I like to compare that to is Hydra damage, because Hydras have a max hit of 18, so generally I want somewhere in that range before dealing with those sons of guns. I mean, wasn't the case for this run, of course. We're long past those days. But the point still stands. It's definitely just one of those nice numbers. I mean, it's not a treasure vault. But it's something, alright. Oh my gosh, as we one-hit Nice Dragon out of this plane of existence, get absolutely wrecked. Oh, a bunch of Dream Sheep. Oh, as we hit all of our caps as well. I mean, I'd like shapeshifting to remain our highest, but it's tough to argue against a +6 aptitude. So I think fighting, you're gonna turn back on in the background there. And then shapeshifting, increment that by 1, please. Perfect. And then what else? Oh, unarmed combat should come back on, actually. I forgot that I turned that off earlier, and there's pretty much no reason not to just max that bad boy out as we go along here. Okie dokie, Shoals not too bad. Those ice dragons were a pretty decent stress test case for our cold resistance or lack of said resistance. So that is perfect.